A very warm welcome. We are delighted to have you here with us today. It's my pleasure to introduce you to the audience. Professor Dr. Arif Bakla from Ankara Yıldırım Beyazıt University is a leading scholar in English language education and technology enhanced learning with extensive publications in high-impact journals. His research critically examines the intersection of AI, digital pedagogy, and language teaching, with a particular focus on how emerging technologies reshape teaching practices and learner engagement. In this session, he will move beyond the theory to demonstrate how AI tools can be meaningfully integrated into lesson planning, guiding participants to design pedagogically sound, ethically grounded, and inclusive AI-supported learning experiences. Arif Hocam, the screen is all yours.
Thank you, Saadet Hocam. Thank you very much. Well, you have said a lot about me. Maybe I could just say one thing to describe myself, additionally, maybe. That is, I like technology, basically. And I've been using technology to learn English and other languages, and also to teach it for the last 20 or 25 years, actually. My journey began with audio CDs, okay, and MP3 players. Today, we have a different story, actually, a story that amazes me. Okay, today we will take a look at the AI tools that we commonly use in planning our lessons, how to plan our lessons. Basically, we need theory to be able to do this. At the same time, we need technological knowledge. And we also need a knowledge of how to maybe convert theory into practice, carry theoretical knowledge into practice. Today, I might talk about some theoretical points, but my basic aim is to illustrate some points on how to use AI tools to shape your lessons, actually. So I have a presentation. In my presentation, I'll show you examples, but before the examples, I'll ask a few critical questions to you. Let me share my presentation and you will see the critical questions over there. Yeah, there you go. You can use your phones, friends, to enter this site. I have a poll for you at the beginning, okay? A poll. Could you please scan this code and then I'll change the screen when you're done.
Hocam, you haven't shared the screen yet.
Sorry. Let me share it. Hang on a second. Let me share entire screen. Now you can see the code, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
I'll enlarge the code so that you can scan it very comfortably. When you scan it, you should see this page. Do you see this page? Is it this one? Sorry. Let me see. First one. Yes. Which of the following are the most significant considerations for planning a lesson? Choose 3 of them. Do you see this screen?
Yes, Hocam.
Okay.
And you see.
Now you choose, please. Choose 3 of them. Read them carefully. Okay. Okay. The results are coming. I need you all, friends. I need to, okay, see, maybe, I don't know how many people we have in the hall. Saadet Hocam, how many people do we have in the hall? I see some 40 people, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that.
Hocam, you want to ask some questions to our students? We couldn't catch that part.
Sorry,
Nihat?
I was talking about the number of students in the room. How many students do we have? How many participants?
Hocam,
Approximately.
over 50.
Okay. So I'll expect 50 answers for this. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
As you see, results keep changing.
Yeah.
Your subject matter becomes number one, ranks number one sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes number two. When I hit 50, I'll stop and then talk about the results. By the way, this is a good tool. It is good because it allows up to 100 people for the poll. Usually, most of them just limit us around something like 50 or 40. But this allows 100 people to vote. I mean, friends, you can take a note of this tool as well. Slido.com. Okay. So we have 49 people here, 50 people. Okay, I'm done. Maybe you can go on rating these, choosing 3 elements over there. But let's take a look at the results. Your subject matter, what you will teach, okay? Your students' learning needs. This is very, very important, right? When you are intending to design a lesson plan, or maybe if we just talk about the larger unit, like a syllabus or curriculum, you should take a look at your learners' needs, because you'll build your lessons, your syllabus, your curriculum on those needs. If they need something, you should just meet those needs in your classes. Your students' level, very nice indeed. Objectives of the lesson. This is also very important. You should have your objectives. And with those objectives, you should shape your lesson. If you don't have any objectives in your mind, it is not important what you teach, basically. Technological devices you will use, your intended teaching method, these are important as well. Duration of the lesson, the physical properties of the classroom. When I take a look at the results, the ranking over here, I see a very good picture, because you have correctly, accurately spotted what is important over there. Congratulations. Thank you for this. Now, I have actually another question. Let me just stop this and change the question. Yeah, I have this second one. Write just 1 or 2 words that come to your mind. If someone, sorry, when if it says, if someone says AI and lesson planning. So 2 words, AI and lesson planning, right? 1 word or 2 words, not more than that, please. Let me see what you have over there. AI, lesson planning. These are the input words, actually. Write something else than AI lesson planning. Productivity, ChatGPT. Okay, let's see. Creativity.
Yeah, right. Words other than AI and lesson planning. We do already have these keywords, okay?
Okay, creativity is growing, as you see, Hocam. Creativity is growing, which is very nice. Technology. Let me just move this. By the way, you are recording the session, right, hocam?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Creativity, technology, Gemini. So Gemini has uh, outperformed ChatGPT, as you see. The larger a word is, as you know, the more frequently it is written in this activity. So
Yeah.
creativity is the top word. This is a word cloud, interactive word cloud. Technology, productivity, creativity, efficiency. Thank you. Okay. Efficiency, innovative lesson, someone said. Integrated learning. There are lots of interesting words actually. Deep seek. Someone wrote deep seek. Automation, which is nice. Time efficiency. Someone wrote time efficient. Time efficiency is another benefit. How about challenges, problems? Do you also think of such things when we say AI and lesson planning?
What
Lack
can be
of
the
critical thinking. Someone said lack of critical thinking, Hocam. Okay. Lack of
Yeah.
critical thinking.
Mhm.
Could be. Not
On one hand, yeah,
nice.
on one hand we have the creativity. On the other hand, we have lack of critical thinking, guys.
Yes. Water shortage. Someone talked about an environmental issue.
Yeah.
Activity. Okay. There are a bunch of very interesting keywords over here. Of course, we have a lot of benefits. When we say AI, benefits outweigh the problems, in my opinion. That's my personal perspective. But there are problems. A basic issue when using AI for lesson planning or any other aspect of teaching is to be yourself and is to, well, be an agent. The agent should be the teacher himself or herself while using AI for lesson planning or for any other teaching activity. You should be the agent and you should supervise actually the AI tool that you are using. These are key points, key takeaways from AI use in lesson planning. Maybe I could have talked about these at the end, but I'll highlight them as well at the end because they are important points. Human oversight, for example. We've been carrying out a study on AI use policies, and one of the most important key, well, principles was human oversight. Check whatever provided by AI tools. Always check them, edit them out, and adapt them to your own needs. Okay, thank you, friends, for this activity. And I'll have one last activity. Let me just come to that. Now, I'll come to my presentation, and I'll show you a prompt, friends. Look at this prompt. Now, I'm showing you a prompt because prompting is a key aspect of using AI tools, as you might guess, especially chatbots and large language models. So this is a sample prompt. Hocam, I asked the participants how they find this sample prompt. I'll just give the rating later, but I'd like to hear what they think about this prompt. Okay, maybe from a few students, one or two. One is enough, actually. Could you ask them, and if there is any volunteer, could you um, tell me their opinion if I can't hear them properly?
Okay. Hussein, please come here.
Now,
And have
this is sorry. This is intended for a lesson plan in which the teacher asks AI tool to give him 10 alternative warm-up activities so that he or she can actually choose one of them and work on that.
Okay, we are expecting you to give your opinions about this prompt. Hocam, in terms of efficiency or which category are we looking for here?
Okay, I intentionally didn't say anything. I just want them to tell me what they think about this.
It says give me 10 alternative warm-up activities, and for someone who doesn't know what they want to do, it may become overwhelming for having to pick up from 10 alternatives. It is good. It's giving you many opportunities, but if you're not cut out for that, it may be hard for you. It says, I want my students to actively participate in the class. Yes, it should make your students actively participate in the class, but making them always participate in class actively is not from this world. So it should be a little bit humble more. I will choose the best warm-up activity and use it in my class, and that's up to us. I do not.
Your name, please. Saadet Hocam has said that, but I couldn't hear it properly. Your name was?
Hüseyin.
Hüseyin, think about the prompt itself, okay? And tell me if you find it detailed enough. For example, it gives number 10, so limits the number of actually output, okay? Outputs. Alternative warm-up activities. So the actually target output, the nature of the output is clear. And the audience is clear, right? Speaking class. And I want my students, the purpose is given, and the end product, how he or she will use the end product. Do you think this is enough? I mean, in terms of how the prompt was written, actually. What do you think about it?
It doesn't include the method you are choosing to use, so you can add that, and it says my students, but it doesn't say which level.
Okay, and very good. Good.
It is. And we do not have a criteria for the best warm-up activity, so it just says that I want my students to actively participate, but to what degree?
Thank you. Thank you. You've actually found good points out of this sample prompt. Thank you. Now, I'll ask you to rate this, okay? Let me come to the relevant page. There
Hocam,
you go. Could you rate it out of 10, friends? Now you have this. I'll just present. Yeah. Can you rate it, friends?
Hocam.
You can use this code to rescan if you have lost connection. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Score is 5.86 now. It is 6 out of 10. The average score. It's increasing. I'll stop at 50.
We are waiting for one more. Come on.
Okay, that's enough, I suppose. Thank you. It's 50. So the prompt got 6.2 out of 10. Oh, okay. Actually, you haven't assigned 10 points to it, right? Because you are aware of a good actually prompt that you can use in AI tools, which is nice actually. Okay, I'll show you some criteria now by using my presentation. Let me go ahead. Yeah. Features of a good prompt. Now, maybe you could evaluate the prompt in your mind much better now. So a good prompt sets the scene all the time, gives some contextual information about what? About students, maybe, about the class, about the school, about the language, their backgrounds, all types of things. Set the scene. Be specific. There were problems like my students. What kind of students? What is their level, for example? A1 students, B1 students, or maybe advanced students? You should always be specific, just like number 10 was specific. I mean, it was not something like, give me sample warm-up activities. Instead, it said 10 warm-up activities, specific. Everything that you write in a prompt should be specific so that machines can understand you better. Use simple and clear language. I think this was met. Maybe it was one of the reasons why you assigned number 6 out of 10. Structure your prompt. You should use structures, and the best way is to use templates for this. I'll show you some examples shortly. Use iterative prompting. If it doesn't work, ask another question, give another prompt, ask for maybe improvements, ask for revision, ask for maybe if you are asking the AI tool to create a text, ask the AI tool to make it shorter, longer, easier, more difficult, and so on. And be persistent all the time, consistent and persistent. Be consistent, be persistent. Consistency helps you to get your message across in a much better way. And persistence allows you to get what you want, actually. Okay. Now, if you can rewrite this prompt, you will have something like this, probably. So a prompt gives a role, for example, a good prompt. Act as an expert ELT methodologist or teacher trainer. Context. Give the context. I'm preparing a lesson for a group of B1 intermediate adult learners. The main lesson theme is blah blah. The previous prompt doesn't give the theme, right? My goal is more specific. It is much better understood in this prompt. It is to lower their affective filter and get them speaking immediately. Please provide 10 alternative warm-up methods, techniques, or elements, whatever, specifically for a speaking-focused class. Earlier prompt said my class, but this is much better because it specifies which type of class it is and the focus of the class. Maybe it's general English class, okay, but the focus, the emphasis is on speaking, and it is clearly stated over here. And there are additional notes. You can just write some reminders. Do this, don't do this, don't do that. Please remember to add blah blah into your output, your answer. It is good to structure your prompts to get better results, better outputs from AI tools. Well, this goes for anything you ask for in AI tools, not only for lesson planning, but also for anything related with teaching or life in general. Let's carry on. Now, you might look for prompt libraries. It could be a general library or lesson planning. It could be related to lesson planning. You could also create your own libraries. How could you do that? You will use templates for this task. And each template will be um, combined with your needs, your intentions. You will improve those templates by adding your own cases into it. And then those prompts will be stored on your computer. You will, for example, have a prompt in your prompt library like creating texts by using AI. Give them a heading, a title, and then order them, sort them alphabetically, maybe in folders or in different Word documents, and so on. I also recommend you to take a look at a kind of book like this. You might find manuals. I mean, you don't have to buy this on Amazon or somewhere. Instead, you might find its equivalent um, books or manuals. This will help a lot. Just maybe you can take down a note of this. Keep a library of your prompts. In lesson planning, we can use a lot of actually types of outputs from AI tools. You can ask an AI tool, for example, to create a lesson plan from the very beginning. You can ask AI to create your whole lesson plan. Of course, you should provide enough input in the form of prompts. Or maybe you could specifically create materials for your specific tasks. If you are intending to teach vocabulary, you need repetition, recycling. Then you will ask AI tools to create parallel texts for you. Get feedback on human generated lesson plan. Why not upload your lesson plan and then ask for some revisions? Because I always think it's like this. AI tools are a friend by my side, like a colleague. And I can ask questions. I can ask for feedback. And this feedback is valuable because it has access to information on the web. And this theoretical information helps AI tools to create perfect material. And of course, you are the boss, and you have the power to change anything. And use the generated plan to compare with your existing lesson plan. You have a lesson plan in your hand, and you want to just compare what is suggested by an AI tool with what you already have in your hands, and you will maybe find some improvements, or maybe you will recognize your lesson plan's strong points, weak points. This could be very, very fruitful indeed. And analytic. In the past, we used to score everything by hand, but today you have a very good assistant by your side again, who never says no, and you can ask AI tools to create surveys, for example, surveys about how students are doing in the classroom, or you can ask them to create achievement tests, progress tests. And the good point is you can ask the AI tool that you're using to analyze the output, the results, student responses, whether it being quantitative, I mean numbers, or maybe words. If you ask students to write something, then AI tools can also be used to evaluate that, because we have large language models. We have natural language processing, which helps us to make sense of written text. Okay, how can you use this? Well, give students a test. Ask AI tool to analyze the results of the tests, and then give you some patterns, what your students are doing well at, and what they are having difficulty in. You will have insight into such issues when you ask AI tools to analyze student data. But here it is important not to uh, disclose personal information when you are just uploading your students' say examination papers. Just remove the names, for example, give them codes or numbers, whatever, because personal information security is of utmost importance. I'll show you different examples of these um, by following a skill-based approach. Let's see. In a lesson, you have steps, you have phases. Phases are important because you smoothly go from one phase to another by um, doing some transitional activities. The first one, for example, in the PPP approach or any other maybe class plan, would be warm up usually. Remember, my question, my prompt was about a warm up activity. Warm up activities are important. And then you will present the material. Imagine that this is a grammar class. In the grammar class, you should present the material. Before presenting the material, you will ask students questions which will help you to identify their current needs. Okay? And you will also do this before the class as well. And you probably have an overall idea of what your students can do and what they can't do. Now, we have these phases. Keep an eye on these phases. And when you are writing your prompts, include the phase names. For example, say, I'm going to, present this topic, present this grammar point, give me this, do this, create this. If you give the phase, then the output will be much better. It will be of higher quality. Let's move. You will set the objectives. A number of people said objectives are very important, and objectives was actually one of the term objectives was one of the most important elements in your ranking, as you might remember. So setting objectives is important because without objectives, you don't know where to go. Okay. And at the end of the class, you will probably assess their progress. If you don't have any objectives, it is not possible to assess your students' progress. We have a very good, actually, model to create objectives that is called the SMART model. Take a note of this because you will use it in any class. SMART objectives, specific. Objectives should be specific, just like feedback. If you provide feedback to students, it should be specific. It should be measurable. Objectives should be measurable. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand how much progress you make. An objective should be achievable. If something is not doable, then it can't be an objective for your class. For example, if you say, I'll teach 100 words in 2 days, it is not possible. Usually in a class, we introduce like 5 to 7 words. If your students are so smart, you might perhaps introduce 10 words. In 2 days, you will introduce 20 words at most. Relevant. The SMART objective should be relevant. It should be relevant to your needs, your students' needs, and it should include a time limit over there. And we use taxonomy to set the objectives. I'm not going into detail in this respect. You can just take a look at it later, and I'm sure you are already familiar with this, and you will take into account these levels. Now, this is a lesson plan provided by an AI tool. And this lesson plan, as you might remember, I said we might ask AI tools to create whole lesson plans for us, or maybe we could just tweak our own lesson plans at certain points in terms of certain criteria. As you see, this lesson plan is a detailed one because it includes a lot of different aspects of a class. Lesson details, lesson objectives, materials needed, warm up, and next is presentation. It also gives you how much time you can spare for this part. Controlled practice. As you might remember from your maybe grammar teaching classes, we begin with presentation and then practice, but the first practice part is usually controlled. Then come the free comes the free part. And break, after the break, you have other parts, pre-practice activities from controlled to free, as you might remember, and wrap up assessment. You can use any AI tool to give you a good assessment, maybe assessment tool or assessment test for your purpose, for your that is in line with your actually objective. And homework extension activity. Yeah, well, it gives you a whole lesson plan, which is good, but you don't have to, of course, implement it as is. Change wherever you want. As you might remember, I said you are the agent, right? What does agent mean in Turkish? What does agent mean? Agent, fail, bir işi yapan, right? So you are the agent, you are the boss. You can change anything. Don't just accept a proposed lesson plan, a suggested lesson plan without making any changes. Keep in mind that you have the necessary skills, you have the necessary background knowledge, and you have the necessary training to do this. You are now, for example, getting such a training. So this is a very good template indeed. You can use it wherever and whenever you like. Just change the words enclosed in brackets, okay? Change those words, you will have a different lesson plan. And keep this in your archive, in your library, and create new ones like this. Start with the structure is the first part of prompt. It gives the details, for example, subject, topic, grade level, type of school, location, time, lesson, duration, and so on. And students' prior knowledge experience. If it's a grammar point, for example, you say, students already know the present tense, and I'll teach past tense, the past tense in this specific session. You might say this. And students' interests, maybe. If you are educating someone by providing them, offering them broad areas of topics, broad topics, then you might talk about career paths, maybe. Request specific lesson components. So we talked about those phases earlier. And ask for localization. That is also important. Full lesson plan prompt could look like something like this, actually. And I'm sure it will work very fine. But still, you won't use it as is. Just remember this all the time. You will revise as needed. And you will add your own expertise, add your own knowledge. So we should tailor whatever presented to us. We should tailor the output, the text, the activity. Even though we provide a lot of details about our purpose, the objectives, okay, students' background, anything like that, AI tools might still give us some irrelevant activities or materials. In that case, you will just tailor the comprehensible input. or exercises. You will just adapt them to your learner's needs, which will be very, very useful on your side. One of the best methods that you can use AI tools in lesson plan generation is to automate text generation. Let me tell you something about this. Approximately 10 years ago, I was just doing a research on vocabulary acquisition, and you are well aware that when we teach vocabulary, we should recycle, okay, the introduced words at regular intervals. But I didn't have the materials for this. So I need to have parallel so that students can see the same words again and again. Let's say, for example, 5 times. In those times, we wrote maybe something like, if I'm not mistaken, 20 paragraphs. It took us a lot of time. But today, you can do this with a few clicks of buttons, okay, on your computer, which will translate as maybe productivity, as someone said in the word cloud. Productivity increases, but make sure that the quality of the presented material, the introduced material from the AI, meets your quality criteria. So you can create a text on a given topic. Just say, write a 1,000 word text on topic X. It should be at this level. Pay attention to this, blah, blah. Just use a template as the one I've just showed you. Create a text on a given topic. You can just do this. Or you can create parallel text. This is good for example, in a reading class, imagine an activity like this. You give 2 parallel texts and divide the class into 2. Ask the first group to read text 1, the second text 2, and then ask them to exchange information from the texts. Although they are parallel, there might be differences. So just do activities like that. And you can ask AI tools to adapt text. This is one of the best maybe functionalities offered by AI tools. I like it very much because I sometimes come across a text. I want to use it, but it doesn't meet my students' needs or level, for example. Then you might ask AI tools to abridge the text, which is very nice. While abridging the text, I'll show you examples. You can just be the boss again and ask the AI tools however you want the text to be over there. Okay, ask the AI tool to do it in a way that you wish. Okay, now you can create a new text from scratch. Here is a very short prompt for, illustration purposes. My intermediate students have read this text and did some comprehension activities. I like them to do some narrow reading. Read similar texts on the same topic. Can you please write 2 other texts with similar properties like length, difficulty, etc.? It could pay if you be more specific about length in the number of words. Just say the number of words or number of paragraphs. Words are the best, actually, number of words. Difficulty level, specify it as A1, A2, B1, B2, etc. So you can also create bilingual texts, English, Turkish texts, which are useful. I'm not against translation in language education. And when I take a look at some major journals in our field, I see that there is a kind of return to translation. Of course, it doesn't mean we are returning back to grammar translation, but somehow we can make use of it. You can therefore ask AI tools to create bilingual texts. Let's move. So here's an AI generated text. This is version 1 for text one. A similar one is this one. So it's about lifespan, aging populations. This is extraordinary, actually, in my opinion. You can just ask AI tools to create as many parallel texts as possible, as you wish, which is unbelievable. I mean, I wish I had this 10 years ago. Yeah. Abridging or shortening, adapting texts. This is another important, well, aspect of lesson planning. Imagine that you are preparing a reading lesson plan or listening lesson plan. You should present your learners with some comprehensible input. And the comprehensible input must meet the needs of your students. These are key issues when you are presenting them something like a text. So when you are asking an AI tool to abridge, to shorten, or adapt a text, give the vocabulary bounds. Vocabulary bounds are something like this. The first most frequently used words in English, beginning with the definite article the, that is the most frequent one in English. an, these are also very frequent. And then we have 1,000 words. Just include them. Say the abridged text, the shortened text should include words from the first band, from the most frequent 1,000 words, the most frequent 2,000 words. If you say, for example, the most frequent 1,000 words or 500 words, it means you are preparing a material for A1 learners, which is nice indeed. If the tense, if you take a look at CEFR's web pages, Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, you can see some lists, like you have these grammatical structures for A1 learners. You have these vocabulary items for A2 learners and the like. You will have these lists on the internet, and you will access the lists free of charge most of the time. And there are also tools which, for example, help you to identify the level of a given text based on CEFR levels, and at the same time giving you vocabulary items, relevant vocabulary items. You might ask AI tools to control for idiomatic language or any other element that might cause difficulties, challenges. You might ask the AI tool to be aware of them. Give sample texts. You might give a text, just do this as this text. The formality level, world Englishes, especially in terms of listening texts. Google Notebook LM, for example, is perfect because it gives you two people who converse on a given topic, and it is you who identifies the topic. Saadet Hocam, would you like to say something? I just felt that you were intending to say something.
No, Jam, I'm just taking what you're saying as they are, because I'm a great fan of Notebook LM as well. And I was thinking of the increasing reputational translation for our fields, maybe related to research in relation to translanguaging practices, which emphasizes the role of being multilingual and making use of most of the languages that you know in a classroom, and so you can become a better learner of a language or any other content. And actually, these were the things that were going on my mind right now.
Hocam, Türkçe söylemek istiyorum. Bu devirde dil öğrenememek abesle iştigaldir. Bu araçları kullanarak. Yani lesson planning bir kenara. Yeah. Just I wanted to say in English.
Benim konumuz tamamen bu translanguaging. O araştırmaya giriyor. Yani hani dil öğrenememek, orayı tekrar eder miyiz? Hani bu duyguyu siz İngilizce'de tam olarak veremezsiniz. Ama Türkçe ifade ederseniz o duyguyu daha iyi ifade edebilirsiniz.
Evet. Hocam abesle iştigaldir dedim. Yani dil öğrenememek bu devirde abesle iştigal. Çünkü o kadar çok araç var ki bunun tabii dezavantajı da var. Kafa karışıklığı. This has also some disadvantages because you might well get puzzled about what to use, how to use. So maybe you could practice a kind of minimalism as well. Anyway, let's move on with our topic. If you need a break, we can just give a break for a few minutes if you like. Can you simplify the text attached? So there are other details. It is always good to use templates once again. I just created these on the go. If I were to, for example, ask AI tools to create parallel text forms or simplified versions, I would use a template for that. I would look for a template. You don't have to actually write every template yourself. Just go go to internet, okay, access Google, and then ask for templates. Or you can even ask AI tools to create templates on how to write prompts. It sounds like circular, but it works because you will work on that. You will further improve the quality of that prompt. So in this prompt, sorry, we talk about those bands, the level, and an example word list, okay? And an additional prompt, use only the most basic tenses like present tense. Simplified text for A2 learners. People are living longer. Yeah, you see, sentences are shorter. When you ask AI tools to do this task, they also give you sometimes give you some lists in which you see the adjustments. Shortened sentences, okay? Normally, we have 15 words on the average in sentences. In typical texts for maybe intermediate to advanced learners. But for lower learners, lower level learners, you will have 5 to 10 words, which is good. Basic vocabulary, for example. Money for old people instead of pensions and the like. So you see what adjustments are being made. You can ask AI to give me a complete list of adjustments, and you learn out of these lists actually. Maybe in the future you could just work on your own to shorten the text, to abridge it. I was talking about CEFR levels and text analyzers. This is an example. You could just paste your text here and analyze them. It will give you the level. You can just take a look at it later, maybe, if you like. Just scan the code and it will be on your phone. Yeah. These tools can be used in collaboration with you and AI tools. Just you will have an opinion of a text about its level, the vocabulary items, the keywords over there. CEFR levels tool like this will give you some opinions, and finally, AI tools will help you do that. And you will probably make a combination of the insights from these three agents, let's say. Okay, generating text for further reading. This is the original text. This is simplified version, and this is a more advanced version. You see the length of the sentences is shorter over here. Simplified. The original, you have especially the vocabulary items like the word prolific, right? Prolific is an advanced word. Beginner learners will not know it, right? We don't expect them to know such a complex word. In simplified one, you will have vocabulary items from the first bounds, actually. Okay. Contextual teaching of vocabulary. One of the maybe most important principles of teaching words is to present them in context. So you always need a context. Even if you teach a particular word, write it on the board. You will provide a lead in, for example. I'll give you the steps. And then you will present your students a sample sentence. This is context. You will ask questions to set the scene, to provide background information. And AI tools can be of great help in this respect. Can you write 4 different paragraphs in which you use the following keywords? So you will again see parallel text. And you will have these words over there. And the examples are, the output for this prompt was this actually. You see, this is for higher level learners, like intermediate to advanced. Governments worldwide are confronting. Now, another one, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, you see the same words. This is very useful indeed. If you want to learn vocabulary, see the words in context. At least whole nation, for example, said at least more than 10. More than 10. If you see a vocabulary item more than 10 times in different contexts, but they might be parallel, you will acquire that vocabulary item, and your students will do that. These are very important. Well, you will follow these. I had a very, very nice teacher back at BA, okay, maybe 25 years ago or so. She taught us these steps, and I like them very much. That's why I sometimes show it to my students. You begin with a lead-in. If you are teaching vocabulary items, you should follow these steps, or you can follow these steps. Let's not be prescriptive. Let's be descriptive. You should present the pronunciation, for example. You should convey the meaning. You should give an example sentence, contextual use. You can get information from AI tools in all these steps. This is a part of your lesson plan, actually, teaching vocabulary, pre-teach vocabulary. These are examples. So you might ask AI tools to give you some insights that you can use in each of these steps. Give some example sentences. Give the phonetic transcription, for example. In the past, we used to use dictionaries. Look words up in dictionaries to see their phonetic transcription. But today, it is possible to see a whole list of words and their phonetic transcriptions in an instance. Okay. Health crisis looms as life expectancy soars. Yeah. These are keywords again. Keywords. You might ask AI tools to select what to teach, for example. What are the most important keywords that I can pre-teach out of this text? You might ask such a question and give the details, of course. Give the relevant details like students, their levels, and so on. And I'm sure what is presented over there by an AI tool will be of great help for you, because it will take into account something like vocabulary bounds, CEFR levels, students' current levels, and all background information. And it will give you nice ideas, basically. You are an English teacher, the role, for example. You have intermediate learners of English. You have the following text. Please identify 5 keywords that might possibly be unfamiliar to intermediate learners. Prepare notes for yourself for each keyword, target word, as in the example provided below for the keyword accolade. When selecting the words, pay attention to vocabulary bounds and so on. Okay? You see, there are details of this task. The AI tool will provide you these out of that prompt. You see different words. In the first step, I asked the AI tool to select the target vocabulary items to be pre-taught. And then I asked AI tool to give me some ideas about the steps that I will follow while teaching the words themselves. And then these are the words. Longevity, for example, is the fifth word that the AI tool selected for me for pre-teaching. Concordance lines is also very useful when it comes to vocabulary teaching. You are probably familiar with what a concordance line is. A concordance line actually gives you the context of a word in more than one example sentence. Usually, the example sentences are cut, okay, they are clipped, but you see the target word in the middle, aligned, okay, from left and right. This is not aligned. The output of the AI didn't include alignment. Alignment means lifespan. The word lifespan appears just on the same line, vertically considered. Pensions, you see, different words. It is very easy for students to get the contextual meaning of a particular word if you give them concordance lines by using AI tools. You can even ask students to study these vocabulary items at home when you're done in the classroom. Just introduce these words in the classroom, provide them with these concordance lines so that they can study, do some self-studying at home. This will be very helpful. Could you please align the target words vertically? The response was server is busy. Please try it again later. So this is a problem, right? Unless you use the full version. I'm using the full version of Gemini, but not ChatGPT. It is often seen, okay? Even in the full version, you might come across some limitations like this. Just be prepared for such limitations and try to use alternatives like other alternative AI tools. Or maybe you could just you could create your own activities. You see, under the word underestimating somehow is aligned. Okay, in the second one, the second example, I asked Gemini this time, could you please do this? And it partially aligned the word in underestimating. You see, alignment was a problem in both AI tools. You can use speaking tasks, okay, created by AIs. Well, one of my favorites is asking AI tools to create scenarios. So conversational scenarios for your speaking classes. And also, I teach, for example, I used to teach because this semester I'm not offering a speaking class. I used to teach breath groups. And for breath groups, I asked students to read texts created by AI tools so that they can learn how to pause between phrases or sentences in English pronunciation. So could you please give me 50 scenarios? This is a real prompt and real output, as you see. Can you please give me 50 scenarios for which students can give an impromptu speech? An example would be blah, blah, blah. I'm not specifying the level here, but giving an example. Sometimes you have no time to write a detailed prompt. So keeping a prompt library is of utmost importance in that respect. You won't have time, enough time. It is almost a common scenario in which you run out of ideas in the classroom. And in such cases, AI tools could be a friend by the side who could provide you ideas or maybe scenarios like that. And when I used these scenarios in my advanced speaking class, it was very useful indeed. I mean, the activity was very useful. Students liked it. Teaching breath groups. Can you please write 50 paragraphs? You might ask AI tools to write 50 paragraphs in one go. They mostly do this accurately. The paragraphs can be about such topics as education, blah, blah, blah. And then, as I will be using these paragraphs to teach breath groups in pronunciation, please include the following in each paragraph: adverbial clauses, sentential adverbs, noun clauses, introductory phrases, and lists. So the topic here is breath groups. What I mean by breath groups is this. As I'll be using these paragraphs to teach breath groups in pronunciation, I pronounced this part in one go. Please include the following in each paragraph. The second go: adverbial clauses, comma, sentential adverbs, comma, noun clauses, comma, introductory phrases, and lists. You see, I'm not reading it like, please include the following in each paragraph: adverbial clauses, sentential adverbs, noun clauses, introductory phrases, and lists. So this is not good pronunciation, right? I'm teaching students breath groups, and I ask the AI tool to give me 50 paragraphs in which these elements are included so that students can do practice. Practice materials can easily be created by AI tools. Tailored grammar exercises. As you see, I'm just visiting each skill and giving examples for each skill and language areas, like pronunciation, grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, and the 4 skills. Write a paragraph of 300 words in which you have the following problems: sentence fragment, parallelism problem, subject verb agreement, pronoun mistake, blah, blah. You have a list of grammar issues. These are issues that are commonly faced by Turkish students of English. That's why I asked AI tools in that specific class to create paragraphs with these problems. And these exercises proved very useful indeed, because students did some customized exercises. It is not possible for me to find such paragraphs on the internet with the specific problems that I listed. I don't have the chance to select the problems. Maybe I might find subject verb agreement problems, but not pronoun mistakes. If you just customize your paragraphs by giving such a prompt, you will practice grammar in a much better way. An error hunt approach, this is a kind of error hunt approach in which students identify problems in sentences, correct errors. And this error hunt approach, AI-enhanced error hunt approach, proved very useful in my own learning and teaching experience. Real life, when we say real life, when you see the stamp real life, it means I used it in my own classrooms. And this is a real prompt. So errors and corrections, here is the output, for example, another output. It just, well, this is the explanation part, basically. It gives the paragraphs and it gives the error correction. You see, there is more to it. Yeah, can you give me a list of 20 grammar problems that non-native speakers of English encounter while writing in English academic papers, sorry. Fragments, subject, verb, agreements, errors, and so on. Now I'm comparing what, for example, ChatGPT might offer me versus what I have as a teacher of English, okay, in my basket. My students do these errors most of the time. But how about other students, international students? Do they make the same mistakes? What about the errors? I can get ideas about what people are facing actually. Sample prompts again. Can you please prepare an exercise for practicing subject-verb agreement in English for advanced learners of English? And it gives you the paragraph. Because I didn't like the length of the sentences, I was not happy with the length of the sentences. I asked the AI tool to lengthen the sentences, make them longer, so that students can face some kind of a challenge by having to read longer sentences. And another prompt on the same line, okay, you have this prompt. You can use such a prompt as a template. I don't remember if this prompt was written by me, okay, or maybe I asked an AI tool to write such a prompt. But anyway, you can use this as a template and further improve it. Yeah. Just you can take a look at this paragraph or paragraphs, the original version, corrected version with explanations. You can learn a lot. Your students can learn a lot out of such an activity. Corrected versions. But here, if you ask AI tools to write something, give answers, always check the answers. Always check the corrections. Otherwise, you might give some, well, less than perfect materials to your students, which will prove harmful or which will prove disastrous for your class. Imagine you give 10 exercises, half of the answers are incorrect, right? You will lose your authority, perhaps, as a teacher. That's why you should put into practice the principle of human oversight. Check whatever provided by your AI tool. Yeah, these are examples. I think you have understood, easily understood what I have presented you over here. So there are lots of error correction activities created by AI tools. You can use these paragraphs and exercises in practice sections of your lesson plans. These provide you the input, essential input. You should provide enough input to get students to speak or to write correctly. In the case of grammar, to write correct sentences, grammatically correct sentences. In speaking, enough output, okay, L2 output. Or in writing, correct sentences and the like. Yes. Types of sentences, for example. Give me 10 simple sentences, 10 compound sentences, and explain why they are compound. Explain why they are compound complex. It is good to have these inputs for your class. Writing exercises. Well, how could you use AI tools in your lesson plan, okay, to design writing exercises or to practice writing, to present writing points, writing subjects? My students, for example, had a difficulty in writing a hook in their essays. And I prepared a lesson plan by using an AI tool in which it provided a lot of examples of different types of hooks, like telling a personal anecdote, using a quotation, or maybe something like telling a joke, okay, giving some statistical information, and so on. These are readily available in the minds of AI tools, or they can just create you whatever you like. I have a basic principle in teaching. Higher quality input means higher quality output. If you just control the quality of the output that you provide, you will have better output. Number two, enough output. You should provide enough output. Providing only one example of a hook, okay, wouldn't suffice. Instead, you should provide ample examples. You could examine them in the classroom as long as time allows, or maybe ask students to check them at home. That is possible. But at all costs, you should provide enough input in the form of exercises, in the form of vocabulary, in the form of maybe texts, whatever. Without seeing how language is used, how can you understand? Okay? How can you produce it, basically? How can you produce? In classes, actually, in lesson plans, we prioritize uh, presentation and practice before production. We give them, because without presentation, without practice, it is not possible for your students to produce something. Enough input, enough practice can amount to adequate output, higher quality output. And there are other ways, of course, in this list. Example essays as models for students. Asking AI to provide writing topics. Give me 200 essay topics, for example, you might say. Give me 200 argumentative essay topics. And give the list to students after you somehow just check the list. You give them to students, and students can freely choose whatever they like. Or they can even do that on their own in your classes. Hocam, I'm speaking too much. Maybe students can tell us how they use AI tools, or I don't know if they have ever prepared a lesson plan so far. Maybe
Okay. I may
ask
my students, hocam, any volunteers to talk to Professor Arif Bakla? Any volunteers? Please, Ayşe is coming, hocam.
Okay, thank you.
She's volunteering, yes. Have a seat, please.
Thank you, Ayşe, for volunteering. I'll ask you a few questions. I'll interview you, okay? About the use of AI tools in teaching writing or preparing lesson plans for your writing classes, right? Okay. Have you ever prepared a lesson plan for a writing class?
Yes.
Okay, good on you. What did you teach?
Language skills, like grammar mostly. I integrated the grammar into the writing part, reading part.
Oh, okay. Okay. You practiced grammar in writing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Did you use any AI tools to prepare your lesson plan?
Yes, I did.
What did you use, Ayşe?
I used ChatGPT.
Okay, what did you ask? What was the prompt, roughly speaking?
I asked for I wasn't sure about the pre-reading, while reading, post-reading parts, post-writing, I'm sorry. So I couldn't come up with any activity ideas myself. So I asked it. And I also asked for a paragraph that is appropriate for the children's level.
Oh, okay, level. You considered your students' level. And you actually, the AI tool functioned as a friend by the side, as a colleague in your case, right? You asked for some ideas. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Did you like the ideas it provided, and was it possible for you to put those ideas into practice?
Like overall, I liked it, but I had to like modify some parts. So like, but overall, I liked it.
It was practicable, right?
Yes.
You were able to put that into practice.
Yes.
Okay.
Just wanted to work with. and it gave me that.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I was working with a group of computer scientists to code an academic software program, and um, what I saw in their teamwork was this: they never wrote they never wrote the codes themselves. They always asked the AI tools to write the codes for themselves, and they
Mhm.
just used the output most of the time without checking them. They just wanted to see if the code worked, but they didn't specifically check the codes. This actually might be problematic because in the near future, they won't be able to come up with original ideas because they will just lack the ability to think critically in a short time. I
Yes.
mean, this shouldn't be our problem in the future. We should use AI tools as an assistant rather than uh, as a tool that replaces our intellectual capacity. Our intellectual capacity remains there, and we should always use it. And we should make a combination of our capacity and that of AI tools. This would
Yeah.
be a very good method, I suppose. Thank you, Aisha, for the interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice to hear about your experience of using AI. Thank you. Okay, let's move. We have other examples here, friends. How much time do we have, Hojam? So I can just speed up, or I can.
Hocam, 5 minutes left.
Oh, okay. We have uh, a lot of examples actually. Um, Up to now, we have taken a look at reading, vocabulary, pronunciation, writing, and so on. Um, Basically, AI tools can do a lot of things, but still, the output will be quite different from your friend's output, okay, created by AI support. If I ask two people, for example, two teachers to create a lesson plan on a specific topic, okay, for a specific group of students, I'm sure they will come up with a different set of activities, a different method of presentation, even if they use the same AI tool, and which is good actually because it means there is variety, okay? So one of the lesson plans could be much better than the other. This might be just because the prompts were better. This might be because the teacher added his perspective as well, which is essential. And the agent was probably the teacher himself or herself in that case. Just pay attention to this. Never leave your mind to an AI tool. Just keep your mind here and control the AI tool when you are preparing your lesson plans. This equally goes for any type of activity that you do with an AI tool. It could be your lesson plan, it could be something in your uh, actual life, social life, it could be anything. Yeah. These are examples of hooks. Don't worry about them. I asked, for example, an AI tool to find example essays on the internet and give them to me. But unfortunately, it failed in this task. I mean, most AI tools are not that good when it comes to searching the internet and providing some useful hits, some useful websites. Most of the essays were not relevant in this specific search example. Yeah, it persistently failed. I changed the prompts, I added new details, but the result was, well, some kind of failure. You can ask AI tools generate rubrics for you. Rubrics are important, especially in formative assessment. Imagine that you ask your students to prepare a kind of portfolio. How will you evaluate their performance? You will use a rubric. And AI tools can help you to turn your criteria into usable, measurable, or rubrics with measurable output. And formative assessment. I talked about this earlier, actually. As you might remember, I said uh, analyze student output, student data, and shape your classes according to what you have. And during this, you can use AI tools as uh, uh, assessment or evaluation tools, as analyzers, as analysts. Okay, this will be a very useful method. So you can ask AI to create an evaluation rubric for a cause effect essay. Okay, here is the output. You see, it gives you the whole rubric. You can, of course, fine tune the output all the time. Don't accept it as is. Okay. This is my best, actually. Asking AI tools to create test items. Test items for daily use, especially, rather than examination questions. You can use AI generated and human corrected assessment items, tests in examinations as well. But human oversight is very important over there. Check the output very, very carefully. Otherwise, in daily contexts, I mean, as a teacher, for example, I'm working at the Department of Translation and Interpretation. I assign students some chapters to read. When they come to class, they face my initial questions before we discuss the chapter. I give them a test to see how much they have read. It is possible. And it doesn't take much time for me. I can easily ask AI tools to create such tests. Here's a template. Just use this or something like this to make the output much better. The topic, number of questions, type of the test, and so on. Just you can examine that later as well. Here is the used template, and the results will be like this. I asked first graders, for example, to read a story every week in reading and writing. And when they come to class, they answer something like 15 to 20 questions about the story, which proves very useful. And I use a specific tool for this, which is Nearpod, right? It has a lot of functionalities. I have these texts. Most of these tests for the story were created by AI tools, and I just went over each question, each test item, and corrected them, made some changes, and the result was an output of collaboration between a professor and an AI tool. The result was good, basically. So you can prepare lesson plans to teach all these skills. You can use AI tools to generate ideas. You can use it for brainstorming while preparing lesson plans. You can ask questions to understand nuances, find fresh activity ideas. This is one of my favorites. Okay. Rephrase explanations for clarity. Iterative prompting is very important. Don't get discouraged if you get something less than perfect. Okay. Perfection is important, but maybe sometimes AI tools cannot understand us. Then change the prompt, ask additional questions, give additional details, and use AI as a colleague. As I have highlighted in this presentation, as a colleague by yourself, okay? And use prompt libraries, create your own libraries. Do search, use books, okay, to find good prompts. And I strongly recommend you to read a book that teaches how to write perfect prompts. There are a number of books on the market. You can even use free ones, Creative Commons ones. Okay. Yeah, we have other chatbots, tools other than chatbots like Google Notebook LM. That is my favorite. Well, that's all, I suppose. If you have questions, you can freely ask them. Saadet Hocam will just convey them if I hear you well.
Hocam, actually, our students are getting prepared for lesson planning. And last week, we discussed about some of the principles of EU's ethical, responsible, and trustworthy principles of using AI in the classrooms. And so far, you have already mentioned about transparency, accountability, human oversight, and privacy. And I see some of my students are volunteering to talk more about these principles. And Esra is one of the volunteers. Yeah, Esra, you may come here, and maybe you can share your ideas with us regarding the ethical principles of using AI while lesson planning and in our courses, Hocam.
Studied teacher, and we learned last week. I remember one of the things that we can't copy AI what says to us for lesson plan and the other things, of course. And for lesson planning, the most important, I guess, is students' needs. We have to be careful about that, and we have to careful about students' privacy. And
right.
And be careful about the differences.
That is, you are referring to fairness principle?
Yes, fairness principle, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to include all of the students in our classes. And Berra is also raising her hand. Berra, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, while I was generating my own lesson plan, I paid pivotal attention to use the AI as a support tool rather than just a replacement for all of the effort to put us. And it was generating the ideas and the output. I was also reviewing the output myself to make sure that it is aligned with the needs of the students. And also the accuracy and the quality. I was making sure that it was up to what I was expecting.
We are talking about agency.
Yeah.
Human oversight. Yeah.
And I made sure it was protecting the students' privacy, not sharing any of the information that they were supposed to be kept private also. And it was supposed to be not biased based on the provided data also. Yeah, and instead of copying and pasting, like I said, information provided was reviewed and changed, altered by me from my own knowledge. And that's what I did, basically.
Okay, thank you, Berra. And Irmak is also volunteering. Hocam, we have a request for Irmak to turn off the camera. Therefore, I've turned it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, sure. Have a seat, please.
I can just listen to the speaker.
So I was going to say the same things that my friends and also you told us to. The data privacy of the students and also ourselves. anonymous. Also, the AI can be biased. That's why we have to check it a few more times after we get the information from it. Also, we shall not be using all the information we got from it. We should not just copy paste it. We have to adapt it to our classes by ourselves.
Mhm.
That's all I had to say.
Thank you. These are nice points. And this actually additional part of the session serves as a summary, okay? The wrap up of the whole session. Thank you for the nice ideas, which sometimes add additional points, which sometimes mirror what I have already said. Thank you.
Yeah. We appreciate all our students, and Hocam, today's session offered a very practical and thoughtful look at how AI can be meaningfully integrated into language teaching, from designing effective prompts and building full lesson plans to adapting materials across skills and language areas. The emphasis on CFR alignment and structured prompting provided clear and usable guidance for classroom practice of my future teachers, I believe. And especially the discussion on ethical principles, especially human oversight, human agency, students' privacy, technical robustness of the technological devices, technical safety, reminded us that AI use is not only a technical issue, but also a pedagogical and a moral one. Therefore, we sincerely thank you sharing your expertise and your critical perspectives on the responsible use of AI with us today.
Okay, you're welcome, Hocam. And your final words were a perfect summary of what I have offered in this session. Thank you for that summary, Hocam.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure, Hocam. I'm a careful listener.
You are.
Okay, thank you very much. I will stop recording the session now, Hocam.